Here he goes again. Victor Osimhen lining one up. It took a long time.
It was all going so well until it wasn't. For weeks, Chelsea fans had dared to believe that Victor Osimhen, one of Europe's deadliest strikers, was finally on his way to Stamford Bridge. The rumors weren't just rumors anymore. Talks were advanced. Personal terms were reportedly no longer an issue, and the player himself, quiet, observant, but eager. The idea of Osimhen leading the Chelsea line in a new era under Enzo Maresca had fans buzzing. This was the Drogba successor, the statement signing, the 120 million euros exclamation mark that would have redefined Chelsea's intent. But just when it felt like the deal was inches from completion, boom, Chelsea stepped back. Not slowly, not softly, just stopped. And the reason, one number, Osimhen's release clause. Sources close to the negotiations confirmed that Napoli's president, Aurelio De Laurentiis, was adamant. Euro 120 to 130 million. No discounts, no negotiations. That was the price. A figure agreed to when Osimhen signed his contract extension just last season. Napoli's position was crystal clear. Either pay the clause or walk away. And Chelsea, well, they walked. Not reluctantly, not apologetically. They simply refused to meet the number, and with that, the entire deal began to implode. But this wasn't just a case of a high price tag. This was something deeper. Chelsea's top hierarchy, according to insiders, were reportedly divided. On one side, you had the recruitment team and new sporting directors who believed that Osimhen was the final piece in a system that needed firepower. A pure no-9 proven in Europe, capable of breaking the infamous £100 million curse that's haunted Chelsea since Luke. But on the other side, the financial control group, the ones looking at Chelsea's past, the club's bloated wage structure, and the brutal reality of financial fair play. For them, 120 million euros wasn't just steep, it was suicidal. What made this rejection even more explosive was the timing. The move had momentum. Reports from Italy, England, even Nigeria pointed to a breakthrough. Osimhen's agents were already laying groundwork for image rights, bonuses, and long-term branding plans. And then came the wall. Chelsea made it clear they would not trigger the release clause. They wanted to negotiate lower offer players in exchange or stagger payments. Napoli said no. No means no. And Osimhen, he watched the dream evaporate. Just like that, Maresca, Chelsea's new manager, reportedly supported the move in principle. He wanted a striker, yes, but he also wanted one that fits his system. Someone technical, mobile, press assistance. Osimhen checks those boxes, but only just. Word from inside Cobham suggests Maresca didn't push aggressively for the Nigerian. In fact, some believe he remained cautious, believing a more versatile and affordable option could be found. And while he may not say it publicly, there's a growing suspicion that he didn't fight to keep the deal alive. Was it tactical? Was it financial? Was it philosophical? That's what has Chelsea fans talking. Because let's be honest, the club has spent more than this before. They've dropped £106 million on Enzo Fernandez, £88 million on Mykhailo Mudryk. The list goes on. So why now, when a proven striker is finally within reach, does Chelsea suddenly become frugal? Fans have every right to be confused, and some are furious. One tweet that racked up over 100,000 views read, "Chelsea spent £600 million on potential, and now they're hesitating on the one player who guarantees goals." The replies weren't kind. Words like cowardly, short-sighted, and sane. Old Chelsea flooded the timeline because to them, this wasn't just a failed transfer, it was a missed opportunity to fix the club's biggest problem, finishing. And if you listen to the voices beyond Twitter, even former players are weighing in. A Chelsea legend, speaking anonymously to a UK-based podcast, said, "Osimhen walks into any top 6 club. If Chelsea had the chance to get him and didn't, they'll regret it for years." That statement alone has added fuel to the fire. The fan base, already bruised from years of rebuilds, revolving door managers, and expensive flops, sees Osimhen as the one guaranteed hit. And now he's slipping away, possibly to PSG, possibly to Saudi Arabia, possibly anywhere but Stamford Bridge. What makes the situation even more tense is the ripple effect. Chelsea had built part of their transfer plan around Osimhen. They delayed movement on other targets, waiting to see if Napoli would budge. But now that the deal looks dead, the Blues are scrambling. John Duran still raw. Mark Guiu, a gamble. Jackson is promising but erratic suddenly. A summer window that started with quiet confidence has become chaotic. Maresca wanted control, but right now, the feeling is control is slipping. And let's not forget about Osimhen himself. He's not just a number on a spreadsheet. He's a player at the peak of his power, coming off another 20-goal season, hungry to play Champions League football, to make his mark in England. His silence has been telling. No statements, no posts. But according to those close to his camp, he's disappointed, not angry, not betrayed, but deeply disappointed. Chelsea was a dream, and now that dream feels like another headline. So where did it all go wrong? Was it De Laurentiis being too rigid? Was it Chelsea being too cautious? Or was it something deeper? A club still figuring out who it wants to be. Because let's face it, this is not just about one transfer. This is about identity, about ambition, about whether Chelsea still behaves like a top club or just talks like one. And right now, the actions don't match the words. The collapse of the Osimhen deal may not be official, not yet, but emotionally, it already is. The damage is done. The tension has exploded. And now, all that's left is to ask, what happens next? The dust hasn't even settled, and already the consequences are starting to ripple across Europe. The Victor Osimhen to Chelsea deal, once seen as a cornerstone move of the summer, has collapsed, not with fireworks, but with a slow, painful silence. And now, as Chelsea fans try to make sense of what just happened, the rest of the football world is moving in. PSG, Saudi clubs, even Manchester United have reportedly reignited their interests. The player Chelsea waited months for could now be wearing a different shade of blue or worse, red by the time the window closes. And the most frustrating part, this didn't fall apart because of the player. It fell apart because Chelsea flinched from Osimhen's side. There's frustration, not anger, not drama, but real personal frustration. According to sources close to his camp, he believed Chelsea was serious. He was ready to adapt. Ready to join. But when the club hesitated, when the silence stretched longer than it should have, he began to feel like an option, not a priority. And for a player of his caliber, at the peak of his career, that message was clear. If Chelsea couldn't show conviction now, why believe in their project later? Napoli, meanwhile, is standing tall. President De Laurentiis went public days ago saying Osimhen has a release clause. We won't lower it by €1. That's the line, that's the standard. And honestly, you can't blame him. Osimhen isn't just any striker. He's the heart of Napoli's modern revival. If Chelsea wanted him, they knew the terms from day one. Walking away now only makes them look hesitant. And in this game, perception matters. Inside Stamford Bridge, the atmosphere is shifting. Maresca is calm on the outside, but behind the scenes, he now faces a new challenge. Rebuild a striking plan from scratch. There's talk of John Duran again. Talk of internal solutions. Even whispers of a surprise target from South America. But none of them match Osimhen's experience, energy, or aura. And Chelsea fans know it. They also remember what happened the last time the club hesitated on a sure thing. Erling Haaland was linked. Declan Rice was within reach. Jude Bellingham had conversations. Each time Chelsea waited, and each time they lost. Now it's happening again. And some fans are asking the hardest question of all. Is Chelsea still a destination or just a stopgap? Victor Osimhen may not say it publicly. Not yet. But deep down, he'll remember this window. He'll remember how close he came and how fast the silence followed. So what happens now? Chelsea moves on. The window rolls on. New names will pop up and the transfer cycle will continue. But for many fans, this one will sting. Not because of the money, not even because of the player, but because this felt like a moment, a real chance to show ambition, clarity, belief. And instead, it turned into another story of almost. Chelsea's refusal to meet Osimhen's clause wasn't just a financial decision, it was a message. Now the question is, was it the right one? Because if Osimhen scores goals somewhere else next season, if he lifts a trophy, breaks a record, or leads a title charge in Paris or Manchester, fans won't forget. And neither will he.